Welcome to RC Custom Creations. I'm happy to finally announce that I'm completed the build series on this FMS K10 pickup truck that I've been working on, since last Christmas. A lot of modifications have been done to this truck in regards to all the plastic parts have been replaced, including drive shafts. The body's been given a mild lift, and all the electronics had been replaced for better components. For those of you who have been following this build for a while, you're aware that I've been looking for metal drive shafts to complete this series, and I had no luck finding them. I started exercising the idea of having custom drive shafts built from scratch, as well as I've exercised the idea of having custom drive shafts modified from stock drive shafts that are available that just either were too long or too short. But then just about a month ago, I was tipped off by a fellow going by the name of Matt Hughes off of Facebook, and he showed me exactly where to get the components that I had been looking for, and I'm sure the components that most of you are looking for. But before I get into that, I want to just do a general overview as to what I've done with this truck for the newcomers. So as you can see, I have given the truck a new set of tires to wrap around. They're made by All-Star. They're a Super Swamper tire, soft compound, almost too soft. Given the amount of weight that's now on the truck, they seem to burn off fairly quick. Probably because I had also filled the tires up with some copper BBs. There's about 65-70 grams. I can't remember now. That information is in a previous video, and my thought process on that is it would help keep the weight down below. The tires don't rotate fast enough to kick the BBs up into the top of the tire and create balance issues that way. I've also wrapped the four corners with a set of bead locks that were purchased off the internet, and to give it a more custom look. If you are familiar with this chassis, or this truck in particular, you'll notice that there's also been a desirable body lift given to the truck, and one of the things that you need to know in doing a body lift and chassis drop on these particular trucks is that the bumpers are bolted to the bottom side of your cross members on the chassis. So when you do the body lift, your bumpers typically stay where they originally were, and it just throws the lines out of whack. So you have to do some modifications to the upper portion of the cross members, and then mount your bumpers to the top of the cross members instead of the bottom. For the interior, I found a little action figure on a beach one day, and I decided that I was going to give him permanent residence with inside the cab of this truck, give it a more realistic video effect. And yeah, I think that pretty well ties the interior up. Moving on to the box, I had sprayed box liner, available in an aerosol can. They're at Canadian Tire and most hardware stores. Most automotive shops probably carry it too. As well as I painted the wires. They used to be red, they're now black, to help blend those in. Looking at the front, you will see that I have blocked out the inserts on the grille to give it a more in-depth feel to that portion of the truck. Popping up the hood, I'm going to bring you in there. As you can see, I'm running a bigger battery pack. The battery pack is it's a 520C 2-cell LiPo provided by DLG Power, and it gives me a little more run time. In order to get that battery to work with the Hobbywing 1080 quick run Gen 1 electronic speed control that I've included in this build, I had to create a little pigtail to adapt the new battery to the wiring harness, as well as I decided to throw in the original battery connector so I can use the original batteries as well. For the radio system, I'm running a FlySky GT5 with the provided, I believe it's a 6-channel radio, I can't remember now. So now that I got you moved closer into the chassis and the truck on its side, you can really see what I've done to this truck in regards to the upgrades. I've gotten rid of all the plastic components, and anything that I could upgrade has been upgraded. Starting from the rear of the truck, moving my way forward, you will see that there's the aluminum cross member that holds the rear bumper. That's one of the components that requires some hand file work on the top side to allow for the bumper to be relocated to accept the body lift. Of course, I'd hit the camera. Moving forward, just above the rear axle is another aluminum cross member. I purchased the front, middle, and rear cross members all as a set on off the internet. You can purchase them separately, or you can purchase it as a kit. I will leave links in the description box. Moving to the rear axle. These axles, you got to be careful with these. The front axle required a little bit more work than the rear. I'll get further into that once I touch base on the front. In regards to the rear, what I had to do is put a slightly longer ball bearing, depth-wise, into the housing to help shim out some of the play and get rid of some of the backlash between the gears inside the diff housing. You will also have to shim both the inside and outside bearings. I guess the both ends of the axle housing, the bearings there, and the shims are available on the internet. Moving to the 4-link suspension. I use the same method front and rear, and they're homemade. You can't get a link kit, a complete link kit for these trucks. What I decided to do is I purchased some 12-inch lengths of 2mm all thread for the main housing, or for the main length, and then I bought 2mm rod ends, and then 4mm outside diameter, 3mm inside diameter stainless steel seamless tubing. Now, taking the all thread, you will require a couple pieces of heat shrink tubing to wrap over the threads to help take up the extra slack or the play out of the stainless steel tubing, so that it doesn't shift around and look all funny. Moving to the center transmission mount now. I guess I'll go above. I've already touched base on the cross member itself. The transmission itself, there is a few ball bearings that you can replace. I believe there's 4 that you can replace for the bushings for ball bearings, and then 2 bushings you have to leave. Bushings, just given the size, are just too small to get a ball bearing that I can find so far. I've upgraded the electric motor to a 66 turn by Hobby. Oh, who makes that? Hobby Fans makes that motor. And the reason why I went with that instead of the EAZYRC is because it came with a brass motor, or a brass pinion gear. I thought I needed it, but when I ordered the gear set, this hardened gear set for the transmission, complete gear set, I didn't realize it included the pinion gear as well. So the brass pinion gear, I ground that off and I installed the proper gear that came with the gear set for the transfer case. Moving forward to the front axle housings. Like I said, it required a little bit more work than the rears, and that is because the C-hubs on one side to the other, there was a machining defect. I don't know if this is a common issue between these, but mine, it was twisted just a little bit, and unfortunately what I had to do is I had to back off the screws and kind of work things to where they now sat as straight as possible, and then I threw the Loctite to it and then put it together. So far it's been holding good. Nothing is twisted back or sprung, and I'm hoping that doesn't change. Moving forward to the drag link and the servo link. I've upgraded those to aluminum ones that are sold as a pair off of the internet, and then I matched it with a EAZYRC servo horn to go with the aluminum look. The steering servo has been upgraded to a ES08 MA2 steering servo, purchased off the internet, fairly cheap. I think I bought two for $12 or something like that. I can't remember now. It does okay with these bigger tires. It could be a little better. I'm going to look for a better servo down in the future for to start the possibly start the upgrade series that's going to be on this truck, or yeah, I guess a second series for that matter. Now the hardest part that I had the biggest troubles getting were these stainless steel drive shafts, front and rear. Like I said, special credit goes to Matt Hughes for the tip, tipping me off as to where to get them and how to get them, as well as I believe he gave me the size required for the rear one, possibly the front one as well. I can't remember that much. If you are looking at ordering these drive shafts, you can find them on AliExpress, and for the rear, you're going to want to order the 75mm by 105mm length with the 3 to 4 option, and the 3 to 4 stands for your input on one end and the input on the other, the whole size. As if you've been into your transmission, into your diff on your K10, your Toyota Hilux, as well as your FMS, or sorry, your EAZYRC GLACIER, you will have noticed that the transfer case has a 3mm output shaft, and your diffs share a 4mm output shaft. So you need that's what makes the drive shaft so challenging to find. Just the different hole sizes on each end. So again, the rear is 75mm by 105, 3 to 4 option. Front is a 40mm by 55mm, 3 to 4 option, and they're found on AliExpress. Of course, the details will be included in the description box. Moving back to the outside as well as the inside of this truck. If you have upgraded your electronic speed control, you will be very familiar with the fact that you lose your lights. And as I've already discussed, I have upgraded my electronic speed control. I'm using the Hobbywing 1080 Gen 1 electronic speed control. So what I did to remedy the lighting issue, to bring my lights back, is I purchased one of those lighting controllers similar to the Tamiya one that you can plug into each channel and get your signal lights, your tail lights, your headlights and whatnot. And then I took the housing off, and I don't plan on driving this truck in any water to any depth, so I'm not really worried about losing the waterproofing. But if I do plan on changing my mind, running it in water, deep water down the road, I can always go back and conformal coat it. If you remember when I showed you the engine compartment, and now that you're looking at the bottom, you will notice that there is no lighting control circuitry. So where did I put it? Moving back inside the cab of the truck, in behind the bench seat is a little pocket that runs the whole length of the bench seat, and then it kind of tucks in underneath the bench seat itself. Perfect pocket for electronics. And that's where I put the board. It tucks in everything in nice and tight. The circuit board doesn't move around. And on the bottom side of the cab, right here, is a little hole that comes out of the back of the cab, and that's where the wires come out from my lighting. The back side as well as the front. Guys, I have done absolutely zero modifications to the body in regards to drilling holes, cutting things, to get this all to work. My goal with this build series was to do zero drastic modifications. I just wanted to do direct bolt-ons and plug and play kind of situation, and not weaken it in any way, shape, or form. That's why I chose not to drill any holes or do any modifications that way. The suspension, I believe I have corrected it, guys. What I did was I purchased a set of shocks off of the off the internet. I can't remember what site it was, but I will include detailed links how to get them. And they're an oil-filled shock. I used slime on the O-rings, put a couple drops of oil in them, and so far no issues. As you can see, there's no sag issues. It's got good rebound. And how I did that was I took the original springs that came with the truck and I put them on in place for the springs that came with those shocks. I found those ones were too stiff, if I recall. And yeah, that's corrected that issue. As far as the body lift goes, I used a set of brass large hex nuts, also known as standoffs for computers. EAZYRC sells them as extra wide or extra deep wheel nuts, if I remember correctly, and I use those, and that gives me a scaled out body lift of I think 5 inches, if I recall correctly. But yeah. So with all that being said, I'm just going to quickly throw a battery in it, show you that the drive shafts do work. This truck does work. If you're looking for a test video of its, how tough is this truck really now, that will be done at a later date, hopefully not to the. Put it on its side. Turn the radio on. As you can see, everything all works fairly well. And it's quite peppy. Just one more accessory that I have handmade for the truck. It is a leather tongue cover that just clips onto the box of the truck, you know, kind of keeps things in the box of the truck as I trail down the dirt paths in the near future. Try to keep everything in. If you found this video was helpful, then please give me the thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I will respond to them in a timely fashion. And if you feel this video is worth sharing, you know, maybe you have some friends that have a FMS K10 or Toyota Hilux or the EAZYRC GLACIER. This information is all cross-compatible between all three platforms, and you know, it can only make your rigs better, in my opinion. If you like this content and you want to see more of my content, please subscribe to the channel, and you know, or share the channel. It'd muchly be appreciated. I've finally hit 500 subscribers a couple days ago. That's a goal that I've been waiting for, you know, for a year now, and I'm surprised it happened, you know, when it did. So for all you subscribers, thank you very much. Bye for now.